This is Fred Rowe with Sarah Bright Dot Fly Fishing Guide Service. I've been teaching, guiding, riding, and lecturing on fly fishing since 1982. Remember, leave only footprints, take only photos. So let's get to this week's report. So what's going on out there in the Eastern Sierras? Hard to believe we're into December already. But what are we doing in December? Well, the weather's actually staying kind of nice. Upper Owens River, guess what? You can drive out there, still suggest four-wheel drive. The road's muddy in places, and I prefer not putting it in four-wheel drive till I need to put it in four-wheel drive. But I wanted to make sure I got home and not got stuck yesterday. A couple places were sketchy, so guess what? I put it in four-wheel drive. So just be careful out there. Still a little muddy, still a little wonky getting out to the river. Main road's fine. It's the little spur roads actually out to the river that you got to watch out for the mud and the yuck and all that good stuff. But what's the fishing doing? Well, it got pounded over Thanksgiving weekend. Still a good number of trophy rainbows and the occasional brown trouts in the river. And what are they taking? Well, for me, I like fishing bigger nymphs. So we know I'm using my favorite, the size 12 stoner nymph, the size 12 green gold wire prince nymph, size 12 variations of a gold rib hair's-ear. Then we're using a size 14 copper john. And then I throw a small fly in there just to catch other fish. So I'm using a size 18 olive coelagon or a size 16 hot spot pheasant tail nymph. Now some guys are throwing small stuff. Some guys are throwing what we call junk flies, which they call mop flies, eggs, and worms, and they're catching a lot of fish on those equally well. Just find what you like, but remember, fish the deep holes, deep runs, cut banks where those fish are resting and feeding. We're definitely seeing fish on the spawning beds. So remember, if you're seeing fish actively spawn, leave them alone. That's our future fish for our catch and release water. So we need to definitely protect them. Okay, let's go over to Hog Creek. Interpretive site. Yep, it doesn't have as many weeds, a lot easier to fish, particularly if you're going to nymph fish in there. There's a lot of Owens River suckers in there. Some guys turn their nose up at them, but not me. I love catching them because every time I get one on, I think I have a big fish on, then realize, oh, it's just a sucker. No, I can't just get them in. It's still a great tug of war to get them in. They've been a blast catching them. Rainbows and browns are in Hot Creek, and there's a hatch. For the most part, what I saw hatching was midges. I got there a tad late for the hatch, but it was definitely going off and the fish are feeding on it. So if they're doing that, fish dry flies. If I'd known that, I'd have brought a dry fly rod. Okay, let's head down the hill. Where? We're going to the lower Owens River. Man, if you got to pick only one spot to fish, that's where I'm going to fish. It's been more of a quantity fishery, but there is some nice fish to be had in there. We've been getting some nice browns, some nice rainbows. And what do I mean by that? 14 to 18 inch fish. What are we doing in there? Well, there's some hatches and they're fishing. Fish don't fish, trout fish. Trout don't fish, we fish for trout. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. So now what are we gonna do? Well, we're gonna nymph in there because even though there's a few fish rising to the surface, what they're really doing is feeding on the larval form of the Baetis mayflies. And we're using size 18 olive coelagon, size 18 beadhead flashback pheasant tail out there. And then we're also starting to see midges in the samples of what the fish have been feeding on. And what midges am I using? Well, I'm using a green gold brassy in a size 18. Then I'm using tiger midges and zebra midges in size 18 down there. So remember, when fishing the lower Owens, get your waders on, wade upstream where you can get to spots where you can't fish from the banks. Cast upstream, get your drag-free drift. If you're fishing under an indicator, don't forget, set the hook on any movement in that indicator. That is key when you're nymphing. Okay, where are we going next? Well, let's go out to Bishop Creek Canal. Yeah, until you give it at least one more week. They dredged it. It takes a little while for the fish in the stream to kind of orient itself and get back to normal. The fish are in there, but they're spooky, so you got to be careful as you approach them, where you're fishing them, where you're casting to them, because there isn't as much cover for them, because they removed most of the weed beds and a lot of the dirt and stuff that's out in the canal. So yeah, they're in there. And what are we gonna fish for? Well, we're gonna fish what I've been fishing because it's been working. Size 18 beadhead flashback pheasant tail nymph, size 18 olive quilligon. Then we're using midges, we're using zebra midges, and we're using tiger midges in size 16. And then I'm also using brassies and green and gold wire brassies in there. And I haven't fished it yet, but because they dredged it, I'm going to use a size 8 or a size 10. Yeah, I know it sounds big. Swimming nymph in crawdad brown, because I think with the water churned up, they're going to be looking for those crawdads moving around because they can find them. Now, well, this has been Fred Rowe bringing you this week's. Oh, wait, I forgot something. I've been adding tips to this. So what are we going to talk about this week? Let's talk about waders. I've been around long enough. I remember we started off with canvas waders, and then we switched to latex waders, and then we switched to neoprene waders, and today we're all using breathable waders. And they need a little bit of TLC. We need to take care of them. So what are we doing? Well, when I'm done fishing in my waders at the end of the day, when I take them off, I turn them inside out. Then that lets all that moisture that's been caught up inside the waders come out. Then when I get home, whether it's a 10-minute drive or an hour drive, I turn them right side out because that's enough time to get all that moisture out. Then, I don't know, I shouldn't do it as often as I should, but every 3 or 4 months, I take my waders and I wash them. I've been using a sponge with Dawn soap, wash out the inside, rinse them off with clear water, then turn them right side out, soap them out, and then rinse them out. And then you want to hang them inside out so that they can dry. And I have to admit, when I put my waders on after I've cleaned them, oh, do they smell good? Because guess what? After a while, waders get kind of stinky. So yeah, if you want your waders to last a lot longer than what they have been, that's what you need to do to keep your waders lasting longer and doing what you want them to do. So this has been Fred with Sierra Bright Dot Fly Fishing Guide Service. Remember, you want to be out there, take only photos, leave only footprints. Remember, you can join me every Tuesday at Mahogany Smoked Meats in Bishop. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and my favorite, lpptv.us.